yo. I believe we're starting a live guitar vacation. It's been a while. A little unconnected from the old YouTubes. Enjoying some of that there real life. Joker, what's up, man? The man with the plan. How you doing, buddy? Got a little heat wave going on, huh? Yeah, dude, I just hadn't been super into YouTube lately. Even like, I usually watch YouTube, I don't watch TV. And it's like, I don't know if they changed something or maybe it's me, but it's like the algorithm's not giving me anything I'm really super interested in. Part of it is are they still in semifinals, or have they hit the finals? I really tried to get into the World Cup. I like the idea of watching World Cup. Okay, so it is a semis. I can't really watch more than a few minutes. It's my attention span, man. It's getting bad. I think that's why my guitar solos are so unfocused. Lack of attention. I hadn't been on YouTube, but I have been woodshedding a lot of guitar. Not saying I've gotten any better. Working on not necessarily what you would normally consider the ins and outs of playing better, like technique and stuff, but working on more consistent phrasing and timing and trying to tell a story, you know. Oh, cool. they came through, and what World Cup country was it? Yo, Quest, what's up, man? I was just telling Joker that I've been like disconnected from YouTube for the past 2 or 3 weeks. Oh, they speak of the French. Yeah, I got a lot of videos to catch up on for my buddies' channels. Actually did try to make one video, but my idea was too convoluted and it never got off the ground. That's not the first time that's happened. Nursery rhyme, please. For some reason, arpeggios, like diatonic arpeggios, used to be kind of nursery rhyme-ish to me. I don't know why. I guess nursery rhyme could be good, you know. It's something that sounds familiar, kind of draws your ear in. Quest is at work. Dude, you're such a video project, music project machine. Well, I appreciate it, man. You're not missing anything great audio-wise. But the support is well appreciated. Well, you're at work. What you do there, I guess, is a whole nother discussion. I like the way you think. Oh man, I bet that's fun. Sometimes playing simpler music like punk, but really playing it well, just as rewarding as trying to play, you know, something that's elevated to wherever your highest point is. And if you think about the memorable solos from punk stuff, it's very melodic. Hank Hill! No, you're the champ. Hey, there is no Conor McGregor anymore. There hasn't been for about 5 years. He just finally showed everybody. Remember, I guess it was a last stream a couple weeks ago, we were talking about Dave Chappelle's crackhead character on Fear Factor, Tyrone Biggums or whatever it is. It was the same thing, seeing Conor in the ring, and he looked like a lost little kid. Like, what am I doing here? And Max was in the ring like, it's so peaceful. I can finally call a place home. Just, you can tell who's been just doing rounds of under the lights fights. Pretty embarrassing, but you probably remember my sentiments and opinion on Conor. He's like the ultimate casual, like the one a lot of casuals followed when they first came to the sport. One thing that was legit about him, at 145, he had true devastating power at 145, fighting fighters that size. So Mohawk was the tell. Yeah, it's like he was trying to reach back to prove he was still the guy that. I mean, you can't. Even if you've been active, you're not fighting at almost 40 like you were 5, especially 10 years ago. Yeah, he had a heck of a run. So he had true devastating power for about one round, because that was the thing about him. Once he really comes out fast, and when he's got that initial energy burst, very dangerous. And he showed that several times. Really, in my opinion, there's 2 to 3 fights he won that he was just so lucky. He did that to Aldo when he first became champion, and had Jose Aldo not gotten knocked out with the first punch, and been able to ride that initial burst out. Yeah, he knows in his own mind that he has benefited from starting out fights and just totally exploding through the other person. He did it to Cerrone. I believe had Cerrone, even though Cerrone was already getting a little older, I believe if Cerrone would have gotten out of the first round, he would have started picking Conor apart because he's just a more skilled kickboxer. So those are two fights that are part of his highlight reels that I'm like, he's just the luckiest SOB. Before that, or was it after? Chad Mendes was beating him, but Chad was he took the fight short notice to replace somebody. And Chad got tired. But I believe on that particular day, had Chad been in shape, like with a full fight camp, he could have beat Conor that day. Well, then you take all that out of it. He's been beaten by Nate Diaz, even though he avenged the loss. Nate just took a payday. He didn't care by then. You know, after Khabib, I was like, all right, there's a clear guy that could be in the conversation for all-time great. Conor fights him and just gets mollywopped. Which I think me and my son were the only ones in the bar where we were watching the fight. That's what a great dad I am. That were rooting for Khabib. Everybody else, Conor McGregor fighting this Russian. He's Dagestani, and he's going to beat the hell out of this Irishman. Dude, Gable. You know, if you watched him wrestle, you just knew he's a generational talent. He did look really good. And Daniel Cormier said something that really hit the nail on the head. Daniel Cormier would know because he was I know he was an All-American. I think he placed second, was the highest he ever placed at the NCAAs. Don't quote me on that. I know he got at least to the finals one time in NCAAs, but I wanting to say that's but anyway. But Daniel Cormier knows what he's talking about as far as a traditional wrestler transitioning and being successful in a more modern era, you know, even though by the time Daniel did it, it was getting pretty much MMA was becoming modernized like it is now. But Daniel said you see a lot of wrestlers that are high level wrestlers try to do MMA, and they have a aversion to getting hit. And even I've noticed it with even Brock Lesnar. He wasn't like a guy that just enjoyed the blood sport aspect of exchanging and getting hit. And you see, that's not part of wrestling, is getting hit. But then every once in a while you have guys that it comes just as natural as the rest. And Gable looked like he was perfectly happy to mix it up. And that guy's been training with John Jones. Well, if you need a good sparring partner, it's going to be hard to find one better than him. But yeah, thinking back, Conor got just killed by Khabib, and then Poirier knocked him out toward the end of Dustin's career. He just his luck ran dry as far as just getting those first round knockouts against opponents that would probably give him a hard time. And then fast forward from that, you see him for years. Every time you see him, he's drinking, looking coked out, getting accused of something. And then he's also blown up like a bodybuilder, so it's pretty obvious that he wasn't training anywhere near. I'd be surprised if he trained at all during several of the years, and he was lifting a little bit and eating the right Brazilian horse meat, and he got way bigger and heavier, more muscle bound. Yeah, Hank, I have zero doubt he stayed juice. Yep. And if he just stopped cold turkey, and yeah, he was hormonally probably the worst he's ever been going into that. I agree. He has no interest anymore I think he knows, or he should have known that he's way different. A guy like that's always driven himself to success. I can understand him thinking, no, I can, if I turn it on, I'm still that guy. I can understand him having that in his own head, but I dang sure didn't. And sure enough, yeah, he's yeah, he did remind you of how diminished Chandler looked in the White House fight. But at least Chandler's heart was still there. Or he didn't. I mean, I'm not saying Connor's heart wasn't in it. I think he legitimately got injured, but him opening with that stupid kick was a result of all the stupid times he's gotten lucky doing, you know. And why he would think at almost 40 with a 5-year layoff, I need to open with that. I mean, if I'm all for using what got you to the show, come out explosive, but I would have, like I'm nobody, I'm a fan, but how about a double jab into a straight left hand that you throw with reckless abandon? Yeah, I don't know if I may or may not have said this on stream, but I definitely said it to my son. I don't know if Connor has the discipline and mindset to do a real fight camp, full fight camp. I said that leading up to this fight. You know, I didn't just say there's no chance, because Max has got a lot of miles on him, and Max is still tough as shoe leather, but he can't take a punch quite like he used to be able to. Yeah, you're right, Hank. Cowboy at his best was like a gatekeeper to the top guys. I just think at that weight, because I think they fought at 170, you'll notice Connor's knockout power as soon as he got out of the 45 class, his knockout power was not as devastating. And then once he's up at 170, those guys, they're like, oh, that's how everybody punches. But he did that shoulder crunch move that I've never seen before or since. But I'm a Cowboy fan too, and I'm obviously, I mean, you could say I'm a hater. I'm just not a McGregor fan. I don't appreciate what he turned the sport into, but it's brought a lot of people to the sport. So anyway, I was really rooting for Cowboy. You know, my heart was hoping that all Cowboys, kickboxing skill and experience would, oh man, Frankie Edgar was local to you? Yeah, I guess Jersey area. Dude, he was a beast. Yeah, he, in his day, he was as good as anybody on a given day. There's a story about Frankie Edgar training at a gym that wasn't his home gym with some of his other buddies that he knew. It was a friendly, hey, I'm staying here this week. It was a friendly training. It wasn't like a gym storming or anything. And they were doing some sparring or whatever, and they looked down on the mat and they were like, what is that? It was Frankie Edgar's ear. Because his ears had cauliflowered so much and, you know, so many times that eventually part of that just cartilage that had galvanized with the blood or whatever it is just kind of came off. It's pretty funny. Oh man, that is cool. I've heard I can't even remember which, the only band I know for sure is Maynard from Tool. But I've heard other guys, talk about doing jujitsu and trying to hop off the tour bus and have a training partner set up and stuff. Yeah, an ear coming off without Mike Tyson. That's new. You are a man of a wealth of complicated, elevated taste. Meaning heavy metal and fighting are your favorite things. I think that says a lot about you. You are an elevated individual. You have good taste. Oh, really? Dang. That's pretty cool. And if I heard a Slaughter to Prevail song, I'd probably be like, okay, but I can't think of... I've never sat down and intentionally listened to them. Oh, wow. Billy from Biohazard. Man, that's an old school band. That's a good one. Huh. Learned individuals. And I'm like you, Hank. I'm a very diverse, tasteful, developed man. When I don't listen to heavy metal, I'll listen to AC/DC. I'm like diverse. Not quite the right tone for that. Yeah, if I'm thinking of the right band, I know Biohazard has been around for a while, but they're kind of in that hardcore, kind of leaning towards death metal that was popular and had the political message and all that. My youngest brother is huge into hardcore, like New York hardcore. And I'm pretty sure I've heard him talk about Biohazard. Yeah. Just big, scary looking dude. Well, it's pretty cool to know a guy like that. If he was training with Frankie Edgar, and I think I remember hearing him as one of the ones he may even be like a black belt or what that's done jiu-jitsu for a long time. I can't remember, but he doesn't just look big and scary. He's actually trained with guys that could whoop his tail. So, he's also got some real deal in him too. But yeah, that card I think got a lot of watches, but I think everybody was kind of ragging on it as a whole. which is understandable. I think the Paddy Pimblett's choke was pretty awesome. That is that front headlock game warms my heart. Paddy Pimblett's a good example. I mean, he'll talk smack and he's funny, but he's not just manufacturing being obnoxious because he's a terrible human being, and that's kind of what I always thought about Conor. I was really butthurt by the way he disrespected Jose Aldo in that lead up, because that was, in my mind, that's really when he became the character at the highest level, because Aldo had the championship, but oh man, yeah, you look at one of those early UFCs, it really looks like Bloodsport or something. It's hilarious. And all those like guys that wore karate pants and wife beater shirts that had mullets, like in the towns and areas they were from, they were trained in Kempo or some kind of ninjutsu or something. And where they were from. They were like legends for being the toughest guys, because everybody has that, where you're from. There's these legendary characters that are supposed to be, super trained killers. And then you see, he ran in there with a lot of gusto, but a guy from Brazil, or a guy that wrestled a little bit in college, just took him down, laid on him, and punched him until he couldn't take it anymore. Take note of that. That's why I became a grappler, man. I saw that and I was like, so all this, stuff with belts and Bruce Lee and all that, somebody that is on the wrestling team can just put me on my back and it doesn't matter what I've learned? Yeah. If you don't know how to grapple, yes. Of course, I had wrestled already as a kid, but I never thought of it as the beginning of a real fighting style. I watched all the movies, the martial arts movies. I was a total mark for that stuff. Yep. Yeah, that sumo guy, if it's the one I'm thinking of, he's the one that, there's a couple. There was the one African American guy that was probably a terrible sumo wrestler because he's not Japanese. And there weren't, you didn't see American sumo wrestlers, so he was probably just an outlier. But yeah, he got tuned up. And there was a guy that was about that size that wore some of those real baggy Steven Seagal pants that looked like Abdullah the Butcher or something. sumo may not have been his style, but I remember him just kind of losing his footing, and the kind of tall, he was a big fella, but kind of tall and skinny European kickboxer kicked him in the mouth, and that's the guy whose teeth went into the crowd. Yeah, we're talking about the same guy, the Hawaiian guy. Yeah, Hank, I agree. Anybody who's serious about it, I think, has realized that you've got to be well-rounded to really do it at any level. But it's amazing to me, people that still don't get it, and they're all people who have never trained, you know. They still think there's some kind of magical size strength difference that will make up for trained versus not trained. And granted, somebody that is strong, big, strong, and a good athlete, yeah, they're going to be a handful, especially while they've got their full adrenaline. But how long does that really last? How long can you sprint? Because that's what it feels like to an untrained person. Hank, I don't know if that's the name, but it very well could be, because it sounds like we're talking about the same guy. Big, bald, kind of Samoan looking fella. Got his teeth kicked in the crowd by, I can't even remember the dude's name. He was either European or French Canadian. Those are still fun to watch. The early days. I remember reading about, UFC after it happened in Black Belt magazine. I'm wanting to say they put Hoist on the cover, and I was like, a guy wearing karate pajamas that does some kind of Brazilian wrestling that has these holds and chokes and stuff. I was so confused. And I looked at him, Hoist, he always just looked like a regular guy. And, obviously the event had already happened. I'm reading about it in the magazine. Well, then our local, the old mom and pop video rental got it, back. I know y'all remember renting videos from the Blockbuster and Movie Gallery, and then a lot of times the mom and pop video rental stores had more different, cooler stuff if you're off the beaten path like I am. But as soon as a video store got it in my town, me and my best friend Rich rented it. because we were big into martial arts, and we wanted to do stuff that really worked in fights. We weren't in it for the right reasons. We wanted to be able to whoop ass. So I just remember feeling like we were renting something illegal. Like, kind of like if you ever rented Faces of Death. It was like, this is really kind of banned, but they still have it around. There's no truth to it, but that's what it feels like as a kid. No, it was the place we rented it from. They had it in a odd section that was like an odd mix of lifestyle. You'd have mountain climbing, a video next to a photography video, and it was in that section, which was a small section, so it stuck out like a sore thumb as soon as I got it. Yeah, I never got caught going in that other section. A friend of mine told me about the movies that were in there. That not good, not for virtuous men like me. A friend of mine said there were some really bad movies in there, so I didn't go in there. Yeah, for sure. The government did not want it. The fight commissions were against it because they couldn't regulate it. And I can't remember if I'm wanting to say UFC 3. It may have been 4 or 5. Was in Dothan, Alabama, which is a town I go through if I go to the beach. But other than that, there's no reason to go there. It's not super small. It's a decent sized town, but that's pretty much what people know it for. But they did it there because so many states had laws and fight commissions. Alabama didn't. Alabama didn't have a fighting commission. I was done competing in MMA, and my fight team no longer existed by the time Alabama got a fight commission. But anyway, they did it in Dothan, Alabama. And if I remember correctly, that was Ken Shamrock fought Dan Severn. It may have been a rematch. I can't really remember. But that was the main event in Dothan. Yeah, that was a pretty cool move by Dana. I'm not a huge Dana White fan, mostly because a fighter's pay is a joke to me. That guy's at the very top level, the UFC, put their lives on the line and often finish their careers with all kinds of problems. And they can make decent livings, but compared to what a top level boxer makes, they're getting paid peanuts. the amount of $1 million plus paydays in UFC history is abysmal. But anyway, that's a tangent. That was cool that Dana just said, hey, we'll get an island and still do it. Warhard, the man, the myth, the legend. The master of avant-garde trombone Warhard arts is in the house. Yeah, that's it, man. Dana's got, when UFC sold and he stayed with the company just, I guess, because he wanted to. He could have taken it to the house. Yeah, man. But that fight in Dothan, the main event, if you go back and watch it, it'll click. But Ken Shamrock and Dan Severn had been told that there was a possibility if they threw punches that they would be committing a crime and being arrested because of regulation. Yeah, they were in Alabama, and they were in Alabama because Alabama didn't have anything. But it was still up in the air, So if you watch that fight, you see a few open palms and stuff, like almost like they were doing pancrase, but there was almost zero punching, if not zero. That's why. I think some of the undercard guys got out there and threw down, but they were under the impression, because they were the main event, all the eyes would be on them. If people were going to get arrested for throwing punches, it was going to be them. Not the UFC's best moment in Dothan, Alabama. Oh man, I can only imagine. Because yeah, Don Fry, what a legend. God made a real man when he made Don Fry, that's for damn sure. He's funny just to hear him talk, man. But like, I think, Hank, you were the one that alerted me about Dustin having the issue at the airport, and of course I looked it up after the stream last time, and he really handled it as far as his response to it, as good as you could. But that's always been Dustin, he's seems like a pretty good dude. And I'm sure he's made a very good living, became a millionaire at least, with his UFC career. But he's only been retired a few years, dog. And he's obviously got problems. Some of that is probably the extreme personalities you get that can succeed in the sport. But you can't tell me part of that isn't from CTE. That's funny. Dustin was the only one who looked remorseful. Yep, Tank Abbott. He was what a legend. The one thing about Tank Abbott that gets left out, yes, he was a big, scary dude that could bench over 500 pounds and hit like a freight train. He also, they made out like he was the pit fighter, the barroom brawler, right? Okay. You know, that's no problem. Because I'm sure, yeah, that was part of who Tank was. He wrestled in college. I can't remember if it was junior college. But he wrestled and had done some boxing. So they made a big deal out of he's just this brawler. No, Tank had as much training as anybody back then. He just happened to also be Tank. And he fought like a barroom brawler. He just came out and got after it. But you know, he was one of the earliest versions of Sprawl and Brawl. Had a little bit of takedown defense because he was a wrestler. And would just stay on the feet and try to knock you out. He was kind of invented that. Yeah, Boss Rutan's a legend, man. I mean, you watch his Pancrase days, and Pancrase was ahead of the curve in Japan. The biggest difference is they only allowed palm strikes to the head. You could punch to the body, but palm strikes were what you could. And really, a lot of your best guys had Pancrase backgrounds, like Frank Shamrock, Boss Rutan. I'm pretty sure Dan Severn did some, but that joker fought a million times. You know, he'd fight in Japan and then be fighting at the VFW in Jerkwater, Georgia. He just fought. Yeah, Chuck Liddell is where the term Sprawl and Brawl, where I first heard it. Because that's exactly what he did. Well, Chuck wrestled in college. He just didn't care for that to be the way he fought. He had a great right hand that could put you to sleep, and had a chin of iron. If there's ever an example of the diminishing chin with time, it's Chuck. Went from having a chin of iron to getting blown over like a leaf. It's sad. I was a Chuck fan. I think everybody I knew liked Chuck. But you got to think too. He had a lot of fights. I mean, but before he ever fought in the UFC, he had a lot of fights. Early days of the sport, earlier. Back then in the gym, they'd knock each other out. There wasn't light sparring, really wasn't my thing. So he took mileage there. Yeah, Gaethje, he's like, he's always used his wrestling mostly defensively, but you can tell he just wants to knock your head off. That's a good example of a wrestler that fully adopted getting hit and liked it. Yeah, just really seeing Gable this early in his career, it just really, it's kind of like what we were talking about with Ronda fighting Gina. Yeah, they're both moms now. Neither one of them are anywhere near their athletic prime. But Ronda was an Olympic silver medalist. Just to make it in the Olympics in a combat sport or any sport really, you are a high percentile of an athlete in the world. So Gable, he's like that. In college, it was ridiculous how he played with people. And he is at that tier of just a generational athlete. Well, I have zero doubt the guy who he fought has been training and striking and the whole MMA game probably for years to make it, to even do that in the UFC, to be an opponent, right? Gable's been probably doing striking for 5 minutes. Not long. But he's an elite world generational athlete. So guess what? He's already better than most guys that spend their whole life training. Warhart, do you do the Dragon Ball charge ups? My son was in the Dragon Ball for a while. All I can remember is they have different forms, like you have Goku, Super Goku, then Stupid Power Goku, and is Frieza, is that the pink guy? I never really got into any anime. I always mess with my son because he's not like a super into it. He really he's an adult now, young adult, and still loves One Piece. If anybody watches that, apparently there's like 5 million episodes. talking about what a masterpiece it is. Okay. That was unintentional. I turned off and on the wrong thing. But even like when he was watching Dragon Ball, I'd mess with him. Tell him that anime was the first step to all perversion and degeneracy. Which is kind of one of those stereotypes that, you know, is like, okay, yeah, that's funny because it's, of course, it's not 100% true, but there's a lot of truth to it. Which I can see how, because I checked out anime. It seemed cool. Like, I've watched Vampire Hunter D when I was younger, and I mean, yeah, that was cool as cool gets, and Ninja Scrolls and all that. But you go one step past those in anime movies as far as how risque they are. And I mean, just the next step is like, what the stuff involving tentacles I've heard, and I'm like, no. I mean, you're already doing the cartoon women and stuff in Vampire Hunter D, which, you know, I'm not like a prude. It didn't offend me. It's just like, it's a cartoon, so you go the next step. It's a big one, and it doesn't get any smaller from what I've heard. Roadman. Oh, shoot, I'm not paying attention. From the state of Kansas, by way of Italy, the international, unknown but super known film star of the late 60s and 70s. Owns the greatest jam cave in the US of A, which means the world. Let's be honest. It's Rody, and he is in the house. Hank, yeah, that, exactly. It's like, you can't say that the old MJ is a gateway. That's, I mean, because if it is, who's doing hard drugs that hadn't ever drank a beer? So is beer a but you also are pretty sure that anybody who's doing the hard stuff, yeah, they've probably smoked their share before they ever get that far. They're just, I suppose you could make a statistical argument for causation, correlation, but we all know it's not that simple. But I don't recommend young fellas watching anime, because it can turn you into a pervert without you even knowing. My son, I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing, but I didn't hide any aspects of life from him. I wanted him as early as possible, as early as he could understand, to know the realities of the world. And my daughter too, just in a different way. smartened them up. But you know, still some stuff. If you're like me, which they got my DNA, some things I still had to learn the hard way. But anime, no siree. Yeah, that's Warheart's got a great point. You know, if you want to be a legit pervert, you just be an anime artist. You just make anime when you grow up. And you know what's funny culturally? Japan is so proper and nice in all the outward appearances. And man, you dig one layer. And it's like, what the heck are you folks into behind closed doors? And not even necessarily like perverted stuff, but just weirdness. Like, you know, I'm stupid, so I think that old show Extreme Elimination Challenge, where, you know, they're dropping balls on people and knocking them in the mud and stuff and having weird people in costumes chase them around. That show's hilarious to me. But that it is weird, and that's like a very mainstream type thing in Japan. It's funny. They're all, you know, they're so polite culturally. That show is funny. It does not surprise me that Hank Hill would also that's we think of our sense of humor is too we have the same quirkiness direction, I would say. So that's like the cup noodle man that we've joked about from day one. You know, that's a Japanese thing. And we look at that, we're like, what in the heck? Why do you have a half wrestler, half giant cup of ramen noodles? That is weird. In Japan, no, it seems about right. Yep, that's it, Warheart. That kind of reminds you of that one part in American Gladiators. And I don't know if Gladiators stole it from them, because for some reason, I'm thinking that show was probably around before Gladiators. But in Gladiators, if you go through the wrong door, you just get, you know, planted by American Gladiator. In that, a crazy somebody dressed like a voodoo witch doctor with a Asian spin on it chases you, and you just run away scared and you lose. It's like, what the? What are we doing here? But it is so funny. And the American version is funny because whoever did that show, them dubbed it for America, they deserve an award, because they just say the most random dub stuff that you know they're not really saying on the show, but God, it is funny. So that's one of the shows I actually like the translated version better, you know. Yeah, that sounds right for the American Gladiators. They were definitely early 90s around. just a bunch of clean athletes that were superhuman. And they always put like some kind of double entendre or a kind of off-color pun with anything they say. It's hey, funny's funny, you know. That'll be interesting to look up if there was a version of MXC going on in Japan prior to the Gladiators. Who influenced who? The Gladiators had, like, the production level was best of the best. So it's bright and shiny, and MXC is kind of crazy looking. It looks like the guys that made Godzilla and Gamera movies did that while they were off. Yeah, I don't remember there being a prize either. And like if they had somebody that won, you really weren't sure why or how they won among the 400 people they had out there. You knew the ones that weren't going to win though. Because some of those highlights, those people they eat it. You can't tell me there weren't some trips to the hospital. But God, those are the funniest ones. And it's always some uncoordinated person hadn't played a sport in their whole life, and they just mixture of having a giant ball thrown at them while they're standing on a slippery platform over a mud pit. Bad combination. Yeah, the least injured person. That may be how they decided. In the American version, you can tell there's themes sometimes in the originals, but the American commentators will be, it's the teachers versus IRS workers. You're like, what? And they'll just say stuff that kind of ties that in, but you know it's just totally made up. Maybe since I've been kind of not feeling my YouTube algorithm suggestions lately, maybe I need to return to some good old MXC. Because God knows how many episodes there are, you know. Spike TV used to run the crap out of them. There's got to be a whole bunch of them. And then, I guess, over here they did Wipeout, so, you know, somewhat in the last 10 years or maybe something like that. That was more like an American version of MXC, but pales in comparison. Pales in comparison to the joyous nature. Oh man. Let me see. I'm gonna pull out a little tune, and then I gotta run to the bathroom real quick. I'm on full sprint. Y'all can time me. I'm gonna be back in like 5.7 seconds. It'll take me longer to open this song up with my technology challenged self. Let's see. Yeah, I've started after my morning get up and drink coffee. I woke up late today, I guess, because it's late afternoon, but I feel like it's like 10 o'clock in the morning. Let's see. I've done this one before. It's just a little lo-fi loop, but I hadn't messed with it in a while. See if it's the one I'm thinking of. Ah, shoot. That was incorrect. Logic Pro is making an ass out of me. It's acting like I've never opened it up before. It would help if I used the right track. Okay. There we go. Alright. Y'all can listen to this masterpiece of 10 seconds of music looped over and over. Japan no zany. I agree. I'm gonna make my quick trip to the lavatory, and I'll be right back. .7 seconds. this is in. Hey, Earl, what's up, man? Whoops. Well, so speaking of the ninjas that do gear espionage, yes, they are real. There's just a couple things to be concerned about, or at least consider. Because they're ninjas, you can't just call them. You have to go through somebody that's in the network, so to speak. And I was able to get in good with the gear espionage ninjas. Here, let me pause this real quick. Cut the music. So if you need to hire ninjas to sneak in whatever gear you haven't told your wife you bought, you have to contact me, because they're ninjas. You're not just going to find them and, you know, a ninja, a group of clandestine assassins, wouldn't like have an office in a strip mall you can call. You know, that makes sense. So I know how to get in touch with them. I have to go to their secret training lair and meet with them in person, but it's just a Walmart parking lot at dusk, so it's not that big of a deal. Anyway, they work for pretty cheap, so the service is not expensive. But you gotta understand, if you are doing business with gear espionage ninjas and you get on the wrong side of them for whatever reason, yes, that's a good way to put it. What's up, Amazonia? No, ninjas.com is a government trap. It's an op to try to trap people who would be hiring ninjas to do ninja type activity. So I go to the secret training lair after you contact me. You know, whether it's a pedal or a brand new boutique guitar or amp, they'll take care of you. But if you do something that's against the ninja code or something, because who knows all those rules, you know, they're ninjas, and they may come back, and I mean, we've all seen the Octagon. We know what happens to people on the wrong side of ninjas. So you just you got to pay to play, in other words. I hadn't heard of that channel, Amazonia. Cool. So they got some decent backing tracks. Phil calls ass. Are Chipsons against the ninja code? not fundamentally because they're fake trademark infringement, but because they're Chinese, the answer is yes. The gear espionage ninjas still hold Japan national patriotism toward Japan in very high regard. So, but chances are, so that's where you get into the unknowns. They're ninjas? They're not Guitar Gear nerds. They wouldn't necessarily know it was a Chips, and they probably wouldn't know what it is, period. And if they look, they say it's Gibson. But let's say you get a Paul Reed Smith SE made in China that says made in China right on it, and the ninjas see that, they may say this guy's now an enemy. And next thing you know, you're sitting at the dinner table and a ninja star flies through your living room and lands in the wall next to you. And you'll know what you got coming then. You know, that's just how it is. Oh man, did you burn up that Jackie Chan? Like I saw it again a few days ago, but once I watched every movie they're showing, they're not putting any new ones on there. So it's like, man, I wish they'd throw 6 new ones in the rotation, but you know, what are you gonna do? It's funny that it hadn't been shut down. That just shows you a lot of those. I think a lot of Jackie's early stuff was Hong Kong. A lot of his stuff was Hong Kong. You know, he was in some Shaw Brothers stuff, which Shaw Brothers will kind of go after copyright. But they're not like companies over here about it. You know, it's like ordering a clone of something from China. That copyright's like, no, we don't do. We will build. How much? Cost $1,000 in America, $50. The YouTube channel that's been around forever that I've watched a ton of old Kung Fu flicks on. It was called the Wu-Tang Collection. It's still called Wu-Tang something. But it's got just a stupid amount of movies on it. I finally figured out that that channel is associated with Shaw Brothers. So that's why it's never been taken down or anything. Which, speaking of stuff made in China, man, they're steadily coming out with stuff that runs NAM A2, the A2 NAM. So it is happening. I just hadn't committed to what I would need as far as the digital NAM hardware option, but there's some that are downright cheap already. I think I saw where Nukes, some of their later little multi-effects boxes, I think they're updating maybe to run NAMM, and they're coming out with all the newer ones will be able to. So it is coming to fruition, which is pretty cool. I hadn't even downloaded the new A2 software. I'm kind of waiting to see if bugs are still getting worked out of it. But yeah, I'm with you, Hank. I think just knowing that a digital option that is arguably as good as anything that's so community driven and open source is really what's going to unite all the digital companies. They're all going to have to support NAMM. I think that's pretty cool. Hank Hill, you are banned from Pocket Master. You disparage the name of Pocket Master with your funny haha joke. That's it, man. How can you argue with free? And I know there's people that sell their own captures and stuff, and I'm sure some of them are great, but you know, the ones I like, I'm not really looking for anything better. At that point, it's the IR that needs tweaking, you know. If you ask me, I still say some of my favorite IRs I have, I got off the NAMM website from people capturing their own cabinets. I really need to capture my 2 cabinets, but I haven't tried to do any of that yet. Yeah, there's not many things you can say are as crazy to be free as the Valhalla Supernatural. But NAMM is definitely up there. Hank's like me. He knows all the good, best free stuff. I'm the same way with plugins. it's like the Logic plugins, man. It's so deep and there's so many that I'm like, you're not even using 20% of what the DAW has. Why would you start spending money on other stuff when you probably have something comparable? And I'm not like a super talented, I'm a hobbyist sound engineer recording, so I don't have the cool outboard rack like Warhart. Here lately, the closest thing to recording actual tunes, because I don't think about these little backing tracks I make. It's just it's for practice and for having some background while we joke around on stream. So, they're just kind of throwdowns. But I've made a couple things that are kind of, I don't know, they're like Medeski, Martin, and Woodish, but not quite as groovy. Kind of in the vein of acid jazz or trip hop. Probably more trip hop-ish. But in doing that, I have been trying to work on getting drum machine type sounds that are cool, because I am a fan of well done samples, but just your basic 808s and all that, unless they're really applied well with a lot of doctoring up, they're kind of played out and generic to me. So I've been trying to learn a little bit about that side of it, because thinking about it, if I were to actually record something that I felt was decent enough to actually put out somewhere, not that it wouldn't get any traffic, but just that I wouldn't be ashamed of. I don't have a drummer. I'm definitely not qualified to record drums. So my two options are I think this is one I've done recently. Really, my two options are to have software drums that, I try to make sound like good acoustic sounding drums as much as possible. But to me, that's kind of a fool's errand. I mean, it's going to be a compromise, But if I adopt cool, dirty drum machine type sounds, then if I can get that to sound cool, it may be an option. Amazonian says your improv is limited by being 95% descending lines. Or for flow, you really rely on pull-offs. Pull-offs are okay, but you need to get your flow without them also. Gotcha. Well, you got an online drum machine. I'll be glad to take a look at it. But actually, I've made a decision. I don't do ascending lines at all anymore. I'm an anti-ascendite. I talked to my local pastor about it. Did a lot of praying. And me and ascending is no longer a thing. I just don't do it. Yeah. I think ascending is for sissies, actually. Degenerates and sissies. That's what God told me in my direct connection. I also did a ritual and consulted the dark arts about it. That's right, Warheart. That's the kind of stuff you run into with religion. Coltrane, who is she? Talking about Alice Coltrane. Yeah, I never dated her. Saying non-pull-off playing is sissified. No, I said ascending specifically. It's a religious decision. I mean, it's not my fault. I'm not the one that made that declaration. That's just what I found through a very deep spiritual journey. What are you gonna do? I don't do pull-offs either. You're wrong about that. It's a technique. I do a technique I made up. They're called digihooks. Exactly. You know, you ask the forces of good, they say no ascending. Are you a saint? Well, you ain't gonna be ascending, are you? Okay, makes sense. Well, then you ask the forces of evil, of the dark arts, they're like, ascending? That's the opposite of what we're trying to do. So the natural conclusion is to be an anti-ascendite, if you really think about it. Joker says he's had enough of this BS. He's out. I appreciate you coming, man. That's right. I think the devil says the only time you would ever ascend is if you ascend to a flat fifth, an octave lower. So, hey, don't get mad at me. Yeah, the devil hates chorus because it has tones that are above and below. But a good D-tune, the devil's all about that. Not that I'm aware of, but my body has been treated like a I've got a lot of miles on me from doing a lot of stupid fun stuff, and I've not been diagnosed with anything like that, but I've never sought it out or anything. Earl Amazonian, he checks me out hard. He means well. He's got concerns about me that I do not have for myself. He's probably one of those ascendites, you know. I mean, consider the source. Nah, bro. Amazonian. If I had a choice of doing that for practice or slamming my ball sack in that door behind me, I would slam my ball sack with every ounce of strength I had. But, good suggestion. I'm messing with you, man. Oh, I did? That couldn't be. That's just not true. I don't ascend. Never have, never will. Against my religion. Plus, I can't, as you have diagnosed. I can't do it anyway, even if I wanted to. Started on a low string, high up, and it was legato. Never happened. I don't know what stream you're watching, or maybe YouTube glitched on your end. Because if that were true, what you're saying, it's almost as if that would mean I can ascend anytime I want. Which we both know. You've already said I can. So that would almost mean like I'm playing what I want to play when I want to play it. But we know that's not what's going on. I'm just fumbling through stuff. Amazonian, buddy. I know I can. Every time you say I don't ascend as much as you would like, what do you want me to say? I'm trying to play what I hear. And I'm not gonna like do equal ascending and descending to try to keep I mean, that's just. So that's the joke. I can anytime I want. And it's funny. You get fixated on weird things. And hey, if there's stuff I do you legitimately don't like, I get it, man. There's sometimes I watch myself play and I'm like, boy, that was a mistake. But we've said this before, but you and I really think of music differently. I'm a habitual line stepper. Well, if I wanted to play like that, which I may one day, I will. But you're kind of I guess what I'm saying is you're introducing preferences, which is fine. Everybody's got preferences. But that doesn't necessarily apply to what I want to do. It definitely applies to if I'm doing something out of your preference, you're gonna be like, yeah, that's not as good as it should be here. Hey man, I got zero problems with that. But you gotta understand, I'm not gonna arbitrarily change what I hear and what I play based on one guy's preferences. Now, often you say stuff I totally agree with, but you know, it's just a difference in the way of thinking. Really, in the grand scheme of things, noodling over backing tracks, I do it on stream. But if I were to play a solo in an actual song that I was making, or even a ensemble that was based around improvisation, I'm not wanting to hear myself solo for, you know, more than a one run through the chorus or something. You know, I just yeah, I've worked on doing that a lot, but it's just so I can hopefully do it with as much confidence as I can muster up when the time comes. But I'm not going to be sitting there playing epic 10-minute solos. I don't want to hear myself play that long, you know. The way I think of it on stream is it's something I can do. It's good practice. But, you know, we're really here telling jokes and hanging out and talking about music, and that's the fun of it. Dang. Seems like my batteries run out quicker, but I will admit I did pre-game a little longer with my computer on. I wasn't quite set up, so that probably took some extra battery time. I don't know how long I've been going, but I feel like my battery light's coming on quicker than normal. But it was good I got a stream in. I've had it in my mind to do one. I just hadn't been in the good frame of mind to do it and all that. Amazonian. I want you to think about why that may not be a new idea to me. Just think about it. All right, guys. I'm gonna let it go before my computer turns off, but I appreciate everybody hanging. And me and Amazonian are still friends. This is how we relate to each other. But I will say, if it came down between practicing like Amazonian wants me to and slamming my balls in the door, my balls would be in the door. Kidding. All right, guys. All right, Amazon, I appreciate you, buddy. Thanks everybody for hanging in the good times. And hopefully I'll stream sooner rather than uh, a couple weeks in between next time. All right, y'all be easy. Talk to you soon.